Welcome to the October 11th, 2022 City of Broussard Council meeting. Please silence your cell phones, and if anyone in our audience would like to make a comment on an item listed on the agenda, please fill out a blue card located at the back of the room. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 5 minutes. Please rise for the pledge. Councilman Garrett, would you lead us in a prayer?
We, the members of the Broussard City Council, beg of thee, Almighty God, to enlighten our minds so our work will be just and fair in all things. Give us the courage and strength to fulfill our duties according to the laws of the land, and fulfilling also thy holy will on earth and in heaven. Through Christ our Lord, amen.
Item 2.1, acceptance of the minutes of the September 27th, 2022 meeting. Do we have a motion to accept?
I move.
I'll second.
The minutes were supplied to the council in their packet. Tina, do we have any public comment?
No public comments.
Council discussion?
Question.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yea.
at large.
Yay.
Motion carries.
Item 3.1, St. Julian Park update. I'd like to welcome our park director, Mr. Jamie Abshire. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, Administration. Thank you all for offering me the time this afternoon to come in and just kind of give you a quick overview of how the year 2022 is going, and just be able to give y'all some factual data that I've worked diligently on in being able to present to you guys this evening. The agenda, I'm obviously going to do introduction, results of year 2022. Year to date, obviously, we're not finished with 2022, but it's a pretty good overview of how the year is going and where we're going this year. The economical impact that it's had. I'm going to discuss a little bit of the Acadiana Alliance that hopefully you all have heard about. Give you a little details about how that went. The 2023 events, a little comparison of 2022 and 2023 together. Obviously, I want to introduce my team, and then we'll go into closing. We continue to perform better and bring more special events. We're very proud of the progress our team has made, and today we'll review our wins from this year and give an overview of what we can expect a little bit for next year. If you look at the graph all the way to the far right, I don't know, it may be a little blurry to you guys, but obviously we've got 52 weekends in the year that obviously we could have something out at our sports complex. And year to date, as of right now, 36 of those 52 weekends, we have events happening at our park, whether it be a single event happening that weekend and or multiple events, red pod, blue pod, green pod. It's a combination. Obviously, we only have 52 weekends in the year, and we've got 36 of those weekends were booked with events. If you looked, I've got it broken down January through July of 2022. We've got the boys baseball, which is 16. The next one is girls softball, which is 5, and other is 2. Coming down to total for those months in general, 70% of the events that we had out there was for boys, and 22% of those were for the girls. Latter part of the year, when it comes in from July to December, we're looking at 59% of the events having out there were for boys and 41 were for girls at the end of the year. So the girls softball pretty much picked up towards the latter part of the year in fall ball is when, most of your softball was happening out at St. Julian, as far as tournaments, because there is absolutely zero fall ball for boys tournaments going on anywhere. So that's when a bulk of your softball was gonna be able to be played out there. Let's go to economical impact numbers from, that we have. This is from, LCB, which is the Lafayette Convention and Visitors Convention. These guys supplied these numbers to me. I gave them, our attendees that were, here, along with the amount of teams that we had for the type of event that we had. And they came back with the economical numbers. But just letting you know, these numbers are from January to July. This is not a full year. This is January to July when I started working on this. Obviously, August, September, we have pretty much zero activity at the park just because it's too hot. Outside events are pretty much null and void. It doesn't matter what sport you're playing. So this is pretty much from January to July as we know it now. And we've had a little over 55,000 participants come through our park, or guests that came through the front gates at St. Julian, which I don't know about you guys, but being half a year, that's pretty impressive. That's really impressive. If you look at the economical impact numbers, go over to your business sales, your direct. These numbers incorporate a direct effect of sales costs, which is your convenience stores, your hotels, your burgers being sold, and your small boutiques, small shops. It's estimated to have a little over $17.3 million that has been direct effect in sales. And overall impact with every industry that's involved with it, it's been a little over 12 million, which at the end of the day, tax revenue has brought in about $350,000 just in 6 months that the traffic in the park has brought. So for people that ask, well, the park comes with a big price tag. Yes, it does. The park itself does not make money. It's close to breaking even. That's where we want to keep that park going. It's what that park brings into our community on top of every other thing we have for as far as economic development going on, initiatives within the city. So I think that's pretty huge. And I mean, like I said, this is over a 6-month period. So let's move on to Acadiana Alliance. Why would we want to form this type of alliance? I hope that you all have heard about it. This is an alliance between the city of Broussard, the Broussard Sports Complex, the city of Youngsville, and Crowley, the sports complex that they have over there. What is the Acadiana Alliance? Acadiana Alliance is a partnership between Broussard, Youngsville, and Crowley, along with 2D Sports and FASA, which FASA is the girls softball. 2D is basically primarily with the boys baseball, and they're coming into the arena now of trying to get into the softball arena. It's starting off just like their baseball did. If any of you guys were around when 2D first showed their face, 2D kind of struggled to get off of the ground with baseball, and now they are the premier alliance partner to begin with. Just their numbers, the ones that the participants that they have at their tournaments are surpassed anybody. We obviously have those numbers as well. You ask, why would we want to do this? For one, we got park utilization. We always stress to our partners that we've got a contract with 2D saying, hey, look, you need to have at least this many teams coming in here. What this does is it takes the pressure off of them to have to book multiple parks, because the way that this ball works is they need the fields. And they're wanting to go into every arena that they possibly can and say, okay, I'm gonna put 50 people, 50 teams over here, I'm gonna put 30 over here, I'm gonna put 40 over here, just to where they've got the field that the fields that they need in order to utilize for that age group that they're needing to fill. Now, we're talking about kids that are from the range of 8Us all the way up to 18U. What this does is it kind of takes the pressure off of them and say, look, I don't want you coming into the city of Broussard and you telling me that you're gonna use both pods, and when that weekend comes, you're only gonna be utilizing one pod. Obviously, I can't come up to you in 3 days and come up with a tournament in one of these pods. No way, no how. It's not possible for us to do. So what we wanted to do is say, like, okay, let's be realistic. You've got this many teams, and we've looked at the data from the previous years of tournaments that made, the number of teams that they had in their organization. We also brought in the softball group and say, okay, where are you aligned with this as well? That's where the interesting part comes in. It's like going, okay, yes, we've got utilization of 3 parks, which is equivalent to probably 27 fields. So we start placing these kids as far as age groups, where can we fit whom, what, when, where? It may be that they only utilize 1 pod at Broussard. Okay, we got this 1 pod done. Okay, let's fill this pod. We'll start bringing in the girls, and we'll go back. And the reason that that graph is so lopsided is the boys have monopolized most of your spring and summertime with nothing but male sports. It's been utilized because these organizations have come in and said, I need all of these fields. We've came to the table and say, you don't need all these fields. We've got room for everybody. Let's see how it could work with a mixture. So brings me to the next point of consistency. One weekend we'll have 17 teams. They told us they needed 2 pods. We got 17 teams and 2 pods. The next weekend we come up, we've got 60 teams playing in 2 pods. What this does is it kind of equalizes out, saying, okay, you've got still the same amount of field usage, but we're bringing in other things. So instead of having 60, 15, 10, 60, we've got a constant medium of 50 to 55 teams probably being in here every weekend for 52 weeks out of the year, or as long as they're playing ball. So that's where this really comes into to play at. It comes down to diversity. I just told you all about boys and girls. I'm a huge advocate of girls sports. I've got a daughter that's 15. She plays high school ball. She's hoping to play D1 ball. I've been a huge advocate of girls softball since she started playing at the age of 4. So it was pretty special to me to be able to come to the table with something that kind of normalizes and equalizes. I don't want, the girls didn't play in the springtime just because they didn't have the field usage to do it. That's the reason it was so inloaded with the boys played in spring and summer, the girls only have fall. So this right here will kind of normalize it and give us the opportunity to be equal across the board. Which that just goes to the opportunity. It just gives everybody the equal opportunity to play on these premium fields that all 3 complexes have. I don't know if you all realize the type of complexes that we have between us 3, Broussard, Youngsville, and Crowley. We've probably got 3 of the best complexes in the state of Louisiana. We by far have the best softball complex, 4 fields throughout the state. There's nobody that could touch us. So kudos to the city of Broussard. Whenever we built it, that part was done right. There's nobody to compete with us on that. 2023 events, this is kind of what it looks like. As of right now, this calendar for 2023. We've got 52 weeks out of the year. We've got 32 events scheduled right now. That's total what 2022 has had. So this is just a 6-month period. The reason I haven't done the last half of the year is due to the fact that the girls' softball schedules, the fall ball doesn't get done until January. So obviously, as soon as January schedules come in, we're gonna upload that into here, and those numbers are gonna substantially increase. So we're gonna have at least another, I'd say at least another 15 to 20 events added on to the 32 events that we have right now. That's just softball. So that's not including what we work on with soccer. That's not including what we work on for football. That's not included what we work on for all the other lacrosse. So all of those things, all of those variables are still out. So the way that it's looking right now, our calendar is set to outdo the events that we had out here last year. Right now, we're not even into 2023. So this is year in comparison. From the top one is 2022 and the bottom is 2023. I'm not going to go too much into detail on this. You guys let me know if you have any questions on it. The boys are in blue, the girls are in green. You could see how it kind of equalizes out, which part of the year we're playing. The special events that we've got coming in are other. That's when your soccer, your lacrosse, football, all of those type of events are going to come in. Obviously, all of this stuff wouldn't be able to, for us to be able to achieve. I came in here with a vision. I needed a team behind me that was actually going to buy into that vision, and the team is set. We've got a phenomenal team out at the park. And I invited all of them to be here this evening just due to the fact that this would not be possible without the strong team behind me. I want to personally recognize all of them that are here tonight. Mr. Russell Broussard is our maintenance director. He wasn't able to be here. He's actually attending a funeral today from a family member. So my thoughts and prayers go out to the Broussard family in their time of need. Ms. Kylie LaSalle is our tennis director. She's with us this evening. Mr. Brian Gilbo, I know that he is not fall under my team, but he is a vital part of what goes on at the sports complex. He does most of our maintenance, electrical, anything we need to know out there. I could go to Brian and he knows what's going on. So ultimately, I know that he is not directly a part of my team, but he is a vital part of the operations out there at the sports complex. Ms. Susie Richard needs no introduction. She's the office manager out there. She's the hard nose. She knows where the money comes from. She knows who owes us money, and she's straight laced. She's gonna make sure that she keeps me in line. She'll tell me, well, you can't say that. I'm like, yeah, I can. And she's like, no, really, you can. I'm like, we'll figure it out. So, Mr. Dwayne DeReese is our sports manager. Dwayne was a good addition. He came in a little bit before me. He knows his sports. He's got a big background in sports. It's a pleasure to work with him. And our newest addition is Mr. Chuck Stout. He's our new sports coordinator. He hired on probably 3 weeks ago. I think he's a phenomenal addition to the team. He brings a whole other avenue of expertise to our team, and I'm proud to have him aboard. In closing, I want to thank you, Mayor, Council, and first off, my team for the commitment and the strong work ethic. We know that this is hard, and it takes a funded budget, obviously, from you guys to accomplish what we do, but has a great rate of return. And hopefully, the numbers that I put in front of you will show that it's got a good rate of return. We look forward to continue to working diligently in 2023 to grow and get better at what we do. I want to put on top of this, I showed you all these numbers. This is special events that we working on brought into the city of Broussard. I don't want that to be overshadowed by our one and only, our very first commitment, and that's to providing the best product that we possibly can to our youth, the citizens of Broussard. We are committed to bringing the best youth programs that we could possibly provide for the citizens of Broussard. This is line job. This comes on top of our everyday work. We still plan on, and we are continually to grow on our youth program. We've got a lot of positive things happening. We want to stay steady in consistency in what we provide for our youth. I think that's been one of the problems in the past is it's been all over the place. There's been no consistency. I can tell you today that we're going to have consistency. Some things might not work off the start. We're going to be consistent with it, and we're going to continue to work and get better at what we do, day in and day out. That's my pledge. That's my team's pledge to you guys. We're going to consistently get better at what we do. So I'll open it up. Do you guys have any questions?
Jamie, when we built the park, when we were designing the park several years ago, the primary thing we were talking about was, and you hit on it a little bit, is for the citizens of Broussard.
Yes.
I know we had a great soccer event this weekend, great turnout. In talking to our soccer director within the last few months, he told me that the participation from Broussard children is only 30% of the soccer participants. How can we increase that? You hit on it a little bit. What can we do to get the kids in Broussard to play soccer or have availability to soccer fields?
Mr. Kenny, I'm gonna be hesitant to answer that the way that I want to. That there's a lot of different variables that are involved with that.
Okay.
I see a lot of imperfections and room for improvement. That's one of the areas where I think that if we stay consistent and we talk with our partners of what we want as our expectations, that number's gonna exponentially grow. Our kids will come back to us. I promise our kids are gonna come back to us. Y'all gotta have faith in me. It's not cut and dry, and you say you're soccer director, I don't know whom that may be, but I can give you a lot of insight. If you wanna come and speak with me, I'd be more than happy to talk with you. It's just, we've got a lot of imperfections that we need to work out before that happens, and it will happen.
Now, the gentleman that he's running a tournament, is he handling I don't remember, is he handling the rec kids also? Or are we
Yes.
handling the rec kids?
Yes.
And
They've got the rec league is Southside Soccer, and the elite league is your Dynamo.
yeah, because 30% ain't a whole lot, man. You know, that's not a whole lot of our children playing in that field.
Those numbers are skewed for quite a few different reasons, and I'm actively working on getting those rectified.
Good luck. Keep us informed.
It'll happen.
Jamie, thank you for that report. You really have done a good job since you've been here of elevating what's going on in St. Julian Park. Your team's doing a great job. I know you have a lot of belief and faith in them, and they bring a lot of skill to the table as well as what you bring. So we appreciate that commitment.
Well, and like I say, I ask any of you guys, hopefully you all have my number. If you ever have any questions on what's going on or how this is happening, please reach out to me. My phone's open 24/7. So, thank you.
Item 4.1, resolution number 723-22, a resolution of reappointing Mr. Edmund Cuomo to serve as the governing authority member on the Broussard Police and Fire Civil Service Board for a term of 3 years effective October 28, 2022. Do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Edmund is here tonight. Welcome. Mr. Cuomo? Thank you. Oscar, would you like to vote now, or do you want to, does council need to vote, or, and then you will swear, Mr. Cuomo in? Okay. If we have a call for the question, we can vote.
Question.
District two,
Yes.
District three,
Yes.
District four,
Yes.
District five,
Yes.
District six,
Yay.
at large. District one. Yes. Motion carries.
Just repeat after me, Ed. I
I, Ed Como, residing at 110 Rue Campaign in the city of Broussard,
do solemnly swear and or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of this state,
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of this state,
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform the duties
that I will faithfully and partially discharge the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as a member of the Broussard Civil Service Board,
as a member of the Broussard Civil Service Board,
and that I will faithfully and impartially administer
and I will faithfully and partially administer
the provisions of the civil service laws of the state of Louisiana,
the provisions of the civil service laws of the state of Louisiana,
as well as amendments and rules adopted pursuant thereto,
as well as amendments and rules adopted pursuant thereto,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, you're the man.
Mr. Cuomo, thank you for your service to the city.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Item 4.2, resolution number 727-22, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a purchase agreement with Siddons Martin Emergency Group and any other related documents for the purchase of a Pierce 107-foot heavy-duty aerial ladder truck. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move.
Second.
I presented tonight as Deputy Chief, Mr. Justin Denies. Welcome, Justin, our chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Council. Kind of give you a little backstory. So we currently have one ladder truck in service. It was put in service in 2003. Kind of a rapid purchase. The city was put in a predicament where we had to buy a ladder truck within a certain period of time to maintain the rating back in those days. So the truck we have now was purchased as a stock unit off of a lot back in 2003. 2004, first full year in service, it ran 28 calls. 2005 was 24, 2006 was 26. So this ladder truck has to respond to every structure call in the city. That's every residential fire or fire alarm or every commercial fire or fire alarm. If there's potential for that building to be on fire, our ladder truck has to respond. Fast forward 20 years, 2020, 94 incidents, 2021 was 111. 2022 year to date, we're at 107 incidents just on that truck. So you can see what the city has done over the past 20 years, just in general. So I'm here tonight to give you some good news and present you basically the facts on this. Myself, Chief Champagne, and Chief Mouton have done a lot of research. In past discussions associated with the last two trucks we purchased, there was potential that our city as a whole would need a second ladder truck. That's governed by PIL, the people who rate us, Property Insurance Association of Louisiana. There was a lot of discussion around that because PIL had a standard that said if you have 5 buildings over 35 foot to the eave, that's outside of your 2.5 mile coverage of your current truck, you have to have a second ladder truck. Well, that standard has changed. It went to, not only does it have to be outside of your current 2.5 miles, but they take into consideration your road miles of your city. So the city of Broussard, I got this map printed approximately 3 weeks ago, has 127 road miles. 88.37 of those road miles are covered by our current placement of our ladder truck, which is right here on Main Street. So to need a second ladder truck in the city of Broussard, we would have to take 44 road miles outside of that 88 mile, the 2.5 mile diagram. We'd have to take 44 of those miles and put a station in the middle of it that would cover those 44 miles within 2.5 miles of their station. The way our city is currently set up, I don't believe there's any way we could ever get there because we're landlocked by Youngsville to the south, right? And we're pretty much landlocked to the north by Lafayette. So the only area that we potentially have that as an issue is towards the St. Martin Parish side. But again, we would have to put 44 road miles in that area. And there's not enough, with the industrial development down there, there's not enough ground space to put 44 road miles. So for the foreseeable future, unless our rating people change the way that we're rated or change the way they do the grading scale, we do not need a second ladder truck in service in the city of Broussard. So that's 1.32 million out of the question. What I wanted to bring you today, and Karen and I have had a lot of discussion, and what I did is I took it to the fire committee to make sure you guys were 100% aware of what's happening. So May the 1st, the cost of an apparatus went up 5%, bottom line. This is what it's going up. Inflation has a lot to do with it, right? November 1, 6.5%. So if we would sign a contract on a truck today, November 1, that same truck would cost us 6.5% more. That's the cost of materials, that's the cost of metal, that's the cost of engines, that's the cost of transmissions, whatever else you have to put in the truck. The vendors are trying to compensate for that because delivery time on these trucks is pushing out significantly. Everybody's trying to get their orders in. So what I gave you tonight on that first page, you can see the cost of a truck today on the top is $1.3529, right? $1,352,928. That's the cost of a fire truck today. What we did last time is we went through our vendor. They have a financing program. You can finance through them. They pay the prepayment, which drops your cost down $33,000 plus or minus. So the cost of that truck would be $1.321 plus or minus. If we were to wait till after November 1 to sign a contract on this same truck, we would be paying an estimated $87,940 more. To break it down even further, our truck's 20 years old, right? Put in service in 2023, 19 years old. If we were to wait and push this out to 2025, the estimated increase is 10% year on year. It's where we stand. This year is 11. We know that off the top because we had 5 in May. We had 6.5 in November. I estimated 9, rough estimate, just in case it comes down a little bit. It's been 7.5 to 8 over the past 3 years. It's continuously going up because of the inflation, obviously. In 2025, if we order this same truck, it's $1.75 million. That's $430,000 more than we would be paying today to sign a contract. If we push that out 5 years, 2027, it's $759,000 more to buy that same truck 5 years down the road. So what I wanted to do is bring these facts to you guys. Our ladder truck is 20 years old. It's not costing us a fortune today on maintenance. Over the past 3 years, we spent about $20,000, $21,000 on maintenance on the truck. But the problem we're running into is getting parts for a 20-year-old truck. It's the ladder that we have now is built on a Freightliner chassis. No manufacturer, no fire truck manufacturer will put a ladder truck on a commercial cab anymore. They do not make it. It's not manufactured by any available manufacturer that builds fire trucks. There's no demand for it, and nobody wants to put it on a commercial chassis. What we run into now is 2 years ago, we had a hydraulic cylinder on this ladder that went out. There's no parts because these trucks are not even manufactured anymore. So we had to find a hydraulic shop to rebuild this hydraulic cylinder for us to put this truck back in service. If we lose a hydraulic cylinder on a ladder truck, the truck's a rolling toolbox. It can't be set up. Outriggers are hydraulic. The ladder itself operates off of hydraulics. So basically it becomes a rolling toolbox. That's our problem, getting parts for a 20-year-old truck. If we continue to drag this out, it's only going to get worse, right? So what I wanted to bring to the council tonight is the number. If we were to sign a contract, obviously 1.32928 plus or minus is where we stand today. The delivery time, a truck just like that today, We found out today. We had a call with our vendor at about 1:30 today. He reached out to us. If that truck was plugged in, submit, here's your contract today. Delivery time is 30 to 36 months. Almost 3 years to take delivery of a fire truck because of the demand for one and because of what's happening with inflation, the prices. All of these fire departments are seeing the same thing we're seeing, and they're trying to get their orders in. So it's pushing out this delivery time. In addition to that, I had a lot of conversation with Karen because we financed one of our trucks, right? One of our engines is currently being financed. We're currently paying a note on it. So if we were to finance this truck, that same company would pay the down payment for us, so we would get the prepayment discount. They would charge us interest until the truck is delivered. So if the truck's not delivered for 3 years, the first 2-year payments will be interest. We don't have to pay a note on the truck. All we would be paying would be the interest on the loan. When we take delivery of that truck is when we would start paying the note. Right now, the way it aligns, it will be right at the end of the process where our current trucks that are being paid on will be paid off. We may add a little bit to the note, but ultimately we'll be carrying that note, continuing it on for whether it be 7 years, 10 years, whatever we decide to do. But I wanted to get this in front of you because I know obviously money is a huge thing for the council in general. And I didn't want to have to come back in here in 2 years and say, hey, my truck's broken, I need a truck. And 2 years from now, I'm $400,000 or $350,000 more than I would have been standing in front of you today and saying, hey, we could sign a contract now. We're not going to see this truck for 3 years. We're not going to have to pay a full note on this truck for 3 years. But ultimately, it's going to get the ball rolling down the bowling alley, whatever you want to call it, and it's going to get those things coming and get that process started. So we're not in a predicament in 3, 4, 5 years down the road where our ladder truck's out of service and we can't protect our city. In addition to that, this truck is 107 foot. The one you see right there, it's very, very similar to that truck. We kind of went off of a spec very similar to this. Our current ladder is 77 foot. Anybody familiar with construction? For us in the fire service, our collapse zone is 1.5 times the height of the building. If our building is 40 foot, 45 foot, it means we have to be 60 foot from that building with our truck to make sure the wall does not collapse on top of the truck. With our current ladder truck, if we're 60 foot from that building, we're not reaching the 3rd floor of a hotel. It's not happening. We can't do it. Because of the fact that the ladder's only 77 foot. You don't have the reach. What this does is going to give us an additional 30 foot of ladder, horizontal reach, to be able to reach whatever we need to reach. So La Quinta, Hampton, those places like that, we can park that truck out of the collapse zone. We'll be able to access the roof, to cut a hole in the roof. We'll be able to access the 3rd floor windows to do what we need to do. In addition to that, there's other vendors that provide fire trucks, no question. There's very few vendors that provide this truck on a single axle. Jeff, I know you asked about, we have a vendor right down the road in Baton Rouge. They don't build this truck on a single axle. It's a tandem axle truck. It adds about 6.5, 7 foot to the truck, and you lose the turning radius. With a tandem axle truck, there's no way we drive this truck in District 4, in District 2, even some of the streets in District 1. The ladder truck won't get there. And I personally have used our ladder truck in District 4 right here off of Knight Street, in District 2 off of Clara Street. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware. We've done our homework from our side to understand what would be the best fit for the city. Height-wise, understanding what we can do, understanding we can reach. We could add a bucket to this truck if we wanted to. It would add cost, but that's not what we need. We need something that we're able to work on and something that's going to keep the cost down as much as possible. So that's the direction we went when we designed this truck in general. But I'm open for questions. I just want to bring you guys the facts.
Where's the down payment?
The down payment for the city of Broussard is $0.
No, what I'm saying, if you say we have to pay interest every month.
So Jeff, and Justin, I did not talk to you about this ahead of time, so my apologies.
Do you think?
Justin sent me some updated financing information with the interest rates. I actually do not recommend financing ahead of time. The prepayment discount is $33,000. We're gonna pay $50,000 in interest until this truck is delivered. So honestly, we can do the purchase agreement without doing the financing right now. And when we're ready to take delivery, we can handle the financing at this point because we will pay more in interest by financing now than we're gonna save by doing the prepayment.
So all we need to do is pay the down payment to secure our slot?
Is there a down payment required?
I don't believe there is.
I think it's
We'll-
just a
we'll
purchase
confirm,
agreement.
But I'm pretty sure it's just a purchase agreement and a PO. And, actually, it's not even a PO. We can probably go with just a purchase agreement. We'll confirm. But you won't pay for the truck until you take delivery. Yeah. The only thing you lose is that prepayment discount, which, when we designed the truck, it was 33,000. So you lose that prepayment discount. And if it's not worth it on interest, Karen,
Yeah,
once you
we
crunch
would
your
end up
numbers,
paying
then
more in interest on the first year. And,
Yep.
and honestly, Jeff, if they do require a deposit, it would probably go directly against the price of the truck and we would finance the difference.
that is correct.
Okay. It's strictly, the mayor signing the contract and.
There's no deposit. It's strictly you signing the contract is what he's saying, Mayor.
Sorry, there's no deposit on the purchase. It's strictly paperwork, the mayor signing off on the contract, getting the contract into, the vendor and the vendor putting us in line. That's the only process. We can attach a PO if we need to, but, as long as they have the signed contract, basically stating that we're responsible to buy it, and once the truck is finished being built, that's all that's required. So there's no money down.
Well, obviously, the council would be interested in taking the least expensive
Absolutely.
path, whatever that ends up being.
And that's what I would recommend.
Chief, the tandem axle wouldn't be more stable for an extended ladder, another 30-foot reach?
Ultimately, what happens on the tandem axle or the single axle is there's outriggers on the side of the truck that come out. You can see right in front of the wheel, there's an aluminum plate. So both the trucks have the same style, each outrigger. It's gonna extend, it's gonna put it down. The back wheels are typically elevated off the ground a couple of inches, maybe even an inch, whenever you stabilize a truck. So you would be in the same predicament stabilization wise. It's not gonna make a difference. Yes, more maintenance. Another set of tires.
I call for a
Public
question.
comment, Tina?
No public comments.
I call for the question.
District 4, I'm sorry, District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large. District 1.
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank y'all.
Ordinances for introduction. Item 5.1, ordinance number 22-743, an ordinance amending the 2022-2023 operating budget for fiscal year 2022 and 23 for capital outlay in the amount of $250,000 for an additional turn lane on Saint Nazaire Road. Do we have a motion to introduce?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Daniel Hutchinson is our presenter tonight. Is Daniel here?
No, you get me.
Sorry, Walter. Walter Cuomo is our presenter tonight. Welcome, Walter.
This is a turn lane at the intersection, going into the Safe Source Saint Nazaire facility. And the idea is to, it's a safety improvement. They're gonna have a lot of big trucks going in and out. This is a turn lane to go into, and now we have McDonald's, located at that same intersection. This turn lane kind of segregates the large truck traffic from the patrons of McDonald's. So, and it takes a lot of this traffic onto a turn lane and off the road. So about 270 feet roughly. No, it turns before McDonald's. Yeah, and so they'll turn in before you get, if you're going towards St. Julian Park, they'll turn in towards McDonald's, and we're gonna put in some, traffic channelization to separate the traffic into McDonald's from the large trucks. It's a good safety improvement.
No J turns, huh?
No J turns, not there.
Tina, do we have public comment?
No public comments.
Further council discussion?
Question.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large.
Yay.
District 1.
Yes.
District 2. District 3,
Yes.
motion carries.
Item 5.2, ordinance number 22-744, an ordinance amending the 2022 to 2023 operating budget for fiscal year 22 to 23 for capital outlay in the amount of $96,500 for tennis court improvements at St. Julian Sports Complex. Do we have a motion to introduce?
I'll move.
Second.
Mr. Jamie Abshire, welcome back, is our presenter tonight.
Yeah, Council Mayor, this is upgraded, needed for our tennis courts to be able to make them USTA regulation, which is United States Tennis Association, is to get the courts into regulation. I can't say that the court's in extremely bad shape. It is fairly good. We do have some cracking. We do have some bird bathing that's in there that will be corrected with these upgrades. But what this is going to do is be able to offer us the ability to go out for bigger, better, stronger, longer tournaments for our tennis organization and actually be able to grow what we do in tennis that we can't afford to do right now just because we do not have a USTA regulation size of courts. As far as the 8 courts that we have right now, none of the 8, to my knowledge, are USTA regulation size. So what this is right here is we're being asking for a little over $96,000 for to get them USTA regulation into regulation, and on top of that, we are also qualified to get $35,000 paid back to the city of Broussard as far as grants. 35,000. They've got 3 different organizations that's going to give us money that's going to equate back to $35,000 in grant monies that comes back to the city of Broussard.
Jimmy, those grants are coming from the USDA?
Yes. Well, you've got one one's USTA, one's USTA Southern, and one's USTA Louisiana. So it's all USTA grants.
Jamie, will these renovations alone allow us to attract USTA tournaments, or are we still needing to add bleachers, bathrooms?
Obviously, Kyler, I'll let you come up if you'd like to speak on it. No, ultimately, yes, the courts will allow us to be able to support that, but in answering your question, yes, we're still gonna have to do facilities and that for us to be able to be the top tier. This is gonna be the first step in getting our courts where they need to be. This is first step.
Question, Kylie?
Repeat it, please.
Yes, so I was asking Jamie if these renovations alone would put us in a position to get these USTA tournaments, because of course we want return on investment. So, but do we need to get the wish list of whatever else needs to be added so we can attract those tournaments? I just don't know, by doing this, are we gonna attract anything, or are we just, is this just a Band-Aid?
No, it's definitely gonna help. Obviously, the main complaint is the fence line. For y'all that don't understand, there's supposed to be 12 feet between the sideline, the doubles line, okay, the outline, and the fence. We have about 8 or 9, which is basically not good. We're lucky no one's run into the fence. So it's a big deal to make those, to correct that, and we'll be able to hopefully get the high school state in Youngsville and Broussard, which would be major, and then tournaments. But yes, the bleachers have no cover. It's a common complaint from parents. It's just, it would be nice to have a separate building, which we've talked about, but that would make a huge difference also, because when you bring in these tournaments, you have, 200 people, and you have spectators. They want to bring grandparents. I see it once a month, and the grandparents can't stay because it's too hot. I mean, we have one little area of shade in the bleacher area, so better facilities would also help. We have, by the way, we've got, just a quick note on the tennis. We have the most USTA teams we've had. I think this is the 3rd year for me. So we've been building regularly. We have full courts every night, which is awesome. It's a great thing. We had none of that before we started with tennis. Over 200 players regularly every week between kids and adults. So without the facilities, we're doing pretty well. So I can just about imagine if we get those facilities and the courts changed.
So At the end of the day, I guess what it boils down to, like I say, this is a step in the right direction. Obviously, we do have a little bit more work to do out there, but eventually we'll get there, you know? But this is where it needs to be. In order for us to have go into partnership with the Youngsville and say, hey, look, let's go in for a bigger, better, stronger, longer tournament, we could both go in together and say, hey, look, we've both got these USTA regulation courts. We can facilitate it here. We've got the facilities. Let's go after it. So it just opens up the door for us to be able to grow like we want to grow.
I got a question. You mentioned about, making room on each side of each court.
Yes, sir.
And I went to speak this morning, and, what about when you get those two courts closer and closer together? Is there any regulation how far those need to be?
There's 17. What happened when they built the courts, the layout is correct for 8 courts. But for whatever reason, between each fence line, they have 2 courts, and they centered the 2 courts in between the fence lines. So there's 17 feet in between each court. You don't need 17 feet. So I don't know why they did that, but so they're gonna just basically shift everything this way.
Right.
So to my knowledge, there's not any, you don't have to deal with fences or any of that.
But I mean,
they have
the distance between the 2 courts
is gonna
in that
be,
one pod, like what you said, it's gonna
What
be.
the distance between
Legal,
like if you would,
up to par.
yes.
yeah, like you came out today and looked, the 2 courts, you've got 2 courts per section in your fencing. Instead of them being here where they're facing the outside fencing and the fencing going to the next court, it's gonna shrink in a little bit from the middle lane from where in between each court.
Right.
So you've got too much room or too much distance right here in between the 2 courts and not enough distance to your outer and inner fences. So it's just gonna equalize that space coming in. So they're gonna take 2 foot here, come in, and look, don't take me for granted when I say it. It's just, they're gonna scoot in the equal distance here, scoot in equal distance here to where you've got 10 feet here, 10 feet here, 10 feet here. It's just gonna equalize the whole thing. But in order for us to do that, we've gotta remove the existing tennis nets, obviously, because they're cemented in the cement. And we've gotta repaint and resurface the whole thing because obviously we've got lines and the whole courts are gonna have to shift along with the net.
I'll just add quickly though, again, I know most of y'all don't know about tennis. The surface is already needs to be redone. So by getting this grant, it's gonna save us some money because it probably would have been an issue in a year or 2. So the fact that they're, what is it, 35 total?
Yes.
That they're giving
35
back to
total.
us. You know, that resurface is included because they have to resurface with this project.
Advertise in it.
We did put out quotes and the 96 is the lowest bid. The closest one was 120.
But y'all did have other people look at it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we definitely, our colleague actually did the homework before I came in. And she's been a part of getting the process rolling. And I'm stepping in just to make sure that we got the I's dotted and the T's crossed.
So the current footprint you're saying is hindering us from getting USTA sanctioned tournaments? They will not come?
The current I'm sorry, colleague. The current footprint is big enough to accommodate USTA. The way that the courts are marked right now is wrong. The nets are set. The courts are not USTA regulation. The footprint of us, yes, we've got enough room.
So they won't come because of the court design, is what you're saying? The way the courts are lined up?
We're still going to have, at the end of the day, once we do all of this, we're still gonna have 8 tennis courts that are USTA regulation size. I'm sorry, did I answer your question?
Gotcha.
Golly, you've really done a good job of building that tennis program, for the most part alone. You've done, you're out there at the facility grinding it every day and talk to a lot of people that play tennis in Broussard and they really like you and they appreciate what you're doing out there and they like to be part of your program.
Thanks.
Is there any public comment, team?
No public comments.
Council discussion?
Question?
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large.
Yay.
District 1.
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item, ordinances for adoption. Item 6.1, ordinance number 22-742. An ordinance for the annexation of certain properties located in section 30, township 10 south, range 5 east, Lafayette Parish, Louisiana, being known as the Gaspard Bertrand Bernard annexation in voting district 3. Do we have a motion to adopt?
Motion.
Second.
Council, heard the report on this item at the last meeting, and the map is in the council's packet. Tina, do you have public comment?
No public comments.
Council discussion?
Question?
District 6,
Yay.
at large.
Yay.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Motion carries.
That was the last item on our agenda tonight. Thank you all for coming. Please drive carefully. Meeting